Thanks
All right.
everybody for everybody for joining us today. We have very special guest Nat Rosasco with us today, who I've personally been working with over at Olive and Ash for a couple years at this point. So we're very happy to have him joining the Duda team today to talk about how he specifically looks at providing ongoing value to his customers, and tactically what he does, strategically what he does, just kind of how he thinks about it. So why don't we go ahead and jump on in?
All right, thanks, Liz. Here we go. Agenda intro, how to provide continuous value, Q&A, and next steps. This is just a little bit of background on the company, and I think this is just interesting to start. When Liz and Vinny contacted me about how we grew the agency, we have a really different perspective on how we did this and what worked and what didn't. And you'll see some of the stories that come out of this, but it's really through taking care of clients as we've grown from eight clients to over 1,300 without doing anything other than taking care of our clients and networking the heck out of things. So there's a little bit about Olive and Ash, some awards that we've recently won, which are really good for us. And here we get into how to provide continuous value to clients. And again, a lot of these tips are going to seem very simplistic, but they're really not. It's executing things that are just day in and day out things. And tip, we don't sell, our clients do. We've gone from 8 clients in 2010, when I decided to do this full time, to over 1,300 today. There are no salespeople, there's no biz dev team here at all. So this was all grown organically. It's quite a growth story, something I pinch myself every day that I can't believe that we're at this spot, but we are. And this is kind of done some soul searching from Liz and Vinny and how we did it, and that's what you're going to see today.
And Nat, tell us a little bit about Olive and Ash. You guys, you've gone through some branding changes. You've worked with Duda for a long time, but tell us what are your services? What do you offer today, and who do you consider yourselves to be as a company?
Yeah, thanks, Liz. We've got a few websites. Olive and Ash is really our Duda-focused business model, and this comes out of we go back to working with Duda from like week 1 with Cody at Duda, and deciding on how close we want to get to Duda and how close we don't. And we were a WordPress house when we started. We did mobile websites with Duda. Really, it was exciting. And then Duda 1 happened, responsive websites, and we were just frightened of it. Frightened enough that my son Jimmy and I flew out to Palo Alto and met with Adam and Cody, and Itai was there actually at the time, to say, should we do this? It was spending money on monthlies that we weren't used to spending. We could just dump a lot of websites onto a server and move on. And over time, as we migrated clients from WordPress to Duda, we started having a lot of success for each of our clients. So what we do is we're full service. We do SEO, we do social media marketing, we do reviews, we do everything. We do printing. Printing is a big part of our what we offer, branding, logos, business card design. We print for most of our clients. We print for about 600 clients through an online printer that we do, just so when people, if something needs to be done, they contact us. Mm-hmm. So the full service was pretty critical for us, and Duda's helped us along the way to add things on to what we sell. So first thing is keep your clients satisfied. It sounds easy, sounds simple, and again, this presentation will be available in PDF form. You can review it. I'm not going to read everything here. I'm going to go through kind of the tips and tricks that we found along the way. Review some crucial facts about customer service satisfaction. Cost to acquire a new customer is 5 to 7 times that of keeping an existing one. It's a lot more money to spend to get a new one than to take who you have, keep them, and build on that. 50% of customers with a bad experience told 10 others. What does that mean? Bad news travels fast, especially in this industry. So we want to tamp that down. Interesting fact, 5% increase in customer retention can lead to a 25 to 100% increase in profit. So we really have focused our whole business model on small to medium-sized businesses, although we have a few very large ones. But we want to keep them. And I've been told about a year ago from the Duda people that our retention rate is really pretty high compared to a lot of other agencies. Our clients stick with us. So that's something we're pretty proud of. You'll see there's 2 slides here of a lot of interesting information that you can get after this. I highlighted the couple, but this is really talking about take care of your clients. A lot of great information and the sources from it, which will be available after. Mm-hmm. Companies spend a lot of money trying to generate new business. And I think this is one of our success points is we do it organically, we retain our customers, they help sell for us, and they remain very sticky. Tip, keep your current clients happy, monitor Facebook and Google reviews and respond and fix problems. And I say in here, almost no matter what. We've had a couple of clients over the last 3 years that were, we can argue about who the issue was. Everybody that's on this call is going to come across some clients that are really difficult. And we had one, we actually redid a whole 40-page website for free and gave it to them. And that's what I'm talking about, no matter what. They've given us a 2-star review. If you go onto Google, you'll see 99 or 100 5-star reviews. It was our only bad one we had. I contacted them right away, and we did what we needed to do to take that away, because for the time it cost me a couple $1,000s to redo it, that review would have hurt us, I felt, more. And I put on here, you can fire a bad client after you resolve an issue. This isn't to say that you always keep clients that are problematic and maybe just not a good fit for you and your agency. So we've actually, every year, there's actually a couple clients that we just decide to part ways with every year. Where to begin? Here's where we get into real tactics. And again, they may sound simple, but I guarantee you, I preach this to a lot of agency partners that we talk to, and I'm not sure they all do this. We started the agency in 2005 while I was working for a private equity firm. My role was to go in as president of companies and get them out of bankruptcies or do turnarounds. So why did that impact this? Every dollar that when you're doing a turnaround is really important. And every client, I had to take every client and just take care of them to such an extent to do a turnaround. Taught me a huge dose of humility and what it takes to turn around a sinking ship. You're not cavalier about anything. Your humility, you can throw it out the window. Personal calls, emails, being there 24/7, 365, and that's the truth. Once I got this started, I decided I wanted to do this. And I begged 8 friends who owned a business. And I'm telling you, this looks simple, and it wasn't. This was the key. I did an interior designer, I did a builder, I did a restaurant, I did a law firm. I tried 8 verticals, and I called them and said, we'll do this for free. And actually, for half of them, we actually did the website and said, what do you think? And these are friends of mine. We did them. All those 8 are still with me. The next year turned into 16, which turned into 32, and that's where it went. And I put this on here. I did not get a lead from my website for years. Don't wait, get out there and do what you need to do to get your first 8 clients. A lot of agencies we talk to, and that's how we put the website up, nobody's calling us. Mm-hmm. It's not what it's there for. It's to validate you. It's to verify who you are. You got to roll up your sleeves and beg. So that's my big tip, and this is the truth. So you're investing in yourself, and this is where the investment comes in.
So Nat,
Oh, yep.
do you see your experience working with turning around these companies as really what led you to have this very customer focused relationship with the people that you work with today? You know, is that really what brought you to know how to do these things before you'd even started your business?
Yeah, I'd had my history before that as I ran companies, and we sold Costco's and Sam's Clubs and Sears and Kmart before all these companies went bankrupt. Where it taught us that when these people call, you just take care of them. So my whole DNA was based in that. But then when I went into this with the bankruptcy things, it really narrowed my focus in on what it takes and how important every dollar is and every client that you have. So yeah, that's what helped shape me. And it's I'm still like that today. I feel like if I don't answer a call, I'm going to lose something. My business is going to tank, which it's not. But that's how I feel inside. So yeah, it shaped me quite a bit.
Great.
Probably a post-traumatic stress syndrome. That's my doctor says.
Hey, you know, you respond to my emails extremely quickly anytime I need to get a hold of you. So I know
Darn,
you're on top of it.
darn right I do. This is, and again, these things sound simple, but they're not. Call your clients regularly. I use Salesforce, and I have the light version of Salesforce to track my 1,300 clients, and I love it. It's like 25 or 30 bucks a month. Love it. Um, I use Salesforce to any conversation about my clients, and I log it in there. And this is I think key too, and it's to connect with your clients. Before somebody, if Liz or somebody sends a lead into me, or there's an agency that contacts us, I look them up on LinkedIn and Facebook. I look up their company, and I try to find out everything quickly that I can figure out with them. If they went to Europe on a trip and I saw a picture of it, where they went to school, something that I can connect with these people. And we just start talking. And I say this, and I said I'm friends with almost every client. It's true. When we talk to each other, it's not agency to client. It's really a lot friendlier than that. And I do it because that's who I am. The benefit of that also, it makes someone harder to leave your agency when they feel they're your friend. And I say this, and if they do, we're still friends. And many times people show up in a new place of business or hire us. Never burn a bridge ever. We've got 30 websites from people that we took care of the person that didn't run the website. Maybe it was the office manager or somebody that wasn't the top person. I always treated them kindly and respect. They moved on to another place, and they said, oh, we need to redo our website. And they would raise their hand and say, hey, we got somebody for you, and that's us. So that worked out quite well. Average response time. How long does it take you to follow up? In an entrepreneur post, be genuinely committed to providing more customer service excellence than anyone in your industry. This commitment must be so powerful that every one of your customers can sense it. I have a lot of clients that'll tell me, you know what, you seem more excited about my website than I am. I love that about you and your company. We get excited when we talk to somebody, and it shows. And that's a big factor. And I tell my people here when they get on the phone, have energy when you're talking. Sound excitable about what you're doing. What I hear from every client I have, it's 100% of them, is they came with me, is they came to us because they had bad customer service experience with another industry, with another agency. And the speed to doing this, it comforts them. My last agency, they didn't contact us. It took 2 weeks to follow up on something. That's why we do it very quickly. And it could just be something, I got your email, I'm busy, I'll get back to you. It calms them down. They're like, okay, this guy's on top of it. He's going to take care of it.
I
And here I
totally
put
agree
in
with
here,
you on that.
yeah, need a website, I got a guy. That's like when you find a plumber or handyman, you say, all right, you know what, I got a guy. And that's us, we're that guy. So just take care of people. Phone, we call all of our customers quarterly. And it's a lot of work to do it. but we do it, and we have it. I come up with every year. Right now, I'm planning for 2021. And Duda has really been the key to this. When we were a WordPress house, I could contact them. There wasn't much else I could do for them. Now, Duda, it's like every quarter something else comes out. And I take the user-centric, Faceta, Uberall, Audio, Agendize, Localies, and I take those and I think about which of these apps makes sense for the clients, and I contact them personally. We only do maybe 5 or 10 a week because it's very personal and very granular. And I'll tell them, hey, you know what? You're a hair salon, you could use Agendize. This is really a great fit for you, and we talk it through. So everything that keeps getting added now, I can go back in and not just have like WordPress that has plugins, millions of them, hundreds of thousands, whatever. And most of them are just white noise as far as I'm concerned. When Duda comes out with one, they're meaningful, and there's X% of my clients that I can upsell to.
So Nat, when you're making these phone calls, getting through 5 or 10 of them a week, is this you personally calling out to people? Do you have other members of your team that also establish these relationships? How do you decide who's reaching out and how you handle that?
There's too many for me. So, over time, different members of our team establish relationships with clients, and I'm pretty comfortable and confident with them going through and making these calls as well. It's too much for me. It just got too big. So yes, I'll put them on calls with me. They'll listen to my first 3 or 4 calls, and then they're more than ready to make their own calls as well. So that's a good point. I can't do it all, but and that's the good news and bad news in my agency is a lot of people wait for me, and I'm trying to get away from that and having the rest of my talented team establish these relationships over time.
Yeah, I think that's a tough skill to start transferring, but once you can start building that confidence in your team, and even having your clients understand that some weeks they may be talking to a designer, some weeks they may be talking to more of a developer, some weeks it may be a business owner like yourself. They really start to get a feel for who your agency is and the depth of things that you can provide as well.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Check return calls right away. When we get a call, I get emails or chats with live chat. We'll get into that in a little bit. I call them within 10 minutes. It blows their head up. Well, I had chatted or I had sent something out to 4 other agencies. You're the only one that got back to me. I get a new client almost every week. I put each week, it's probably every 10 days, that I was just the first one that got back to them. They didn't even ask me anything else. Like, all right, you got back to me. I've had bad experiences before. You're hired. I know that sounds ridiculous, but I get a lot of clients that way. Create valuable content. This is something, and I put in here, and this one I was being thoughtful about. Just monitor what's going on in the world and react to pertinent topics. And obviously the big one this year was COVID. We did a blog post on scheduling virtual meetings and its benefits, and we did that in March. Adam Ferris, I talked to him a couple days ago, and he was talking about when he's talking to agencies and businesses, website's no longer a luxury, but an essential business tool. I try to take things that are going on in the world and just reacting to them in a very fast manner. We did, after COVID hit, I think there's over 70 clients that we went back to and said, my gosh, that is so thoughtful and amazing. All we did was we added buttons to every one of their websites, schedule a free virtual consultation. They thanked me over and over. I charged them for it. It took us about 3 minutes to do. And it created a lot of revenue for us in March that we needed, frankly, at that point, with the world kind of turning upside down. Become an authority in your field. This is something, I mean, this is what I did, but you can each figure something out. I went to University of Michigan, and I contacted them and said, I'd love to come in there and go into your graduate school and talk about branding. They accepted it. I went in there. There were about 150 students there. They taped it. It went on the University of Michigan website. After that, Northwestern University and Notre Dame contacted me, and I did the same thing there. This could be a local high school, college, junior college, wherever you're at. Take that step and then promote the heck out of it. And I put it on our website. There were pictures of me talking at Michigan and Notre Dame and Northwestern. Turns out one of the students, this was crazy, I told them each, I said, we'd build a 4-page website for each of you. It was an entrepreneur classes at each of these. And one of the students, we did a 4-page website for $500. He had it for about 3 months and said, I'm sorry, I got hired by a big medical center. I have to take my website down. The medical center then bought 30 medical campuses in the state of Florida, and it turned into a $30,000 website because he said, hey, I got a guy. And it turned into a $30,000 website. We were adding, every week they're spending money with us. So you never know when something's going to lead to something, but that was a great thing that turned into something important. But there's a lot of local schools and whatever, you just go and speak, and you don't know what's going to come out of that. But that's when I said become an authority in your field. Think about it, what you can do, what you're capable of, and go out and do it. Reply to emails promptly. This is just, that goes to a state of mind again. And somebody says, you know what, I got it. I put in here hasty pudding as an example. Hasty pudding was from Harvard University. That's the oldest club in America. And we did the hasty pudding website. We launched it on a day. This was a big deal that we got. And to deal with Harvard was amazing. We put the website up, and there was a misspelling on the site the night we put it up. And one of their alumni that was on the board saw it at 10:30 at night. I'm checking my email before I go to bed. We did it on Expression Engine. I went in and changed the word and said it was solved. It was a minute later. Well, this guy turns out that he's a political advisor on Capitol Hill, and we've done about 15 websites for people running for Congress right now, 2 super PACs, and that turned into a huge book of business because of what I did for that. Usually reply to emails within 10 to 15 minutes. Live chat, and this is what I learned this from our friends at Duda years ago. Google had done a study that X% of people only want to chat. We put live chat on there, but not only did we just put live chat on there, what we did that was interesting is we contacted the live chat company and said, if you put it on our website for free, we'll resell it for you. So I have it on my website. I get a chat 1 or 2 a week. We close 90% of them, and it's free, and I resell it and get a commission when I resell it. So I would highly suggest live chat on your site. And more now with COVID, I think it's more important than ever.
And Nat, do you use live chat from both a sales and support perspective, or do you focus in one way or the other with your live chat?
It's both, Liz. That's a good question. Most of them were new business. Now people, since COVID actually, they're sending in their maintenance or service requests through it. We immediately answer them back. They're happy about it, but it's for both, and it's been very well received.
That's great.
Repeat purchases. This is the key to my business model, and a lot of agencies that we deal with, they're not really thinking about the monthly hosting, customer retention part of that. Hadn't thought about it. A third of them, agencies that we talked to, weren't even charging monthlies, or just doing a Duda site, turning it over to the client and walking away. And I learned that lesson the hard way. I didn't do that when I started in 2005, and probably spent 5 years that I just gave that up. Recurring revenue is the whole point of us being in business. And Duda has been critical to gain new customers and keep retaining existing ones. That stats dashboard, when I get a new client, and I show them, I'll preview the statistics dashboard. They can look at it. I have a hosting monthly sales sheet that we put out to people. I used to charge people 15 bucks a month. They're like, well, I'm just on a GoDaddy server. Why would I spend 15 with you when I can spend 6 on a GoDaddy server? Once we switched over to Duda, we eventually took it to $59. It's once people see the SSL certificate, they see the statistics built in, which is way simpler to figure out than Google Analytics. No one can understand that. And they can make the updates themselves, they're sold. And they feel that the $59, we actually have an $89 plan that we're starting to switch people into, that we offer a few hours of edits a year for that, and we get into $89. So that's been really critical for us. And with WordPress, there was no alternative for this. I couldn't have done this.
So I know a lot of people, we hear occasionally that people are a little hesitant to get into this recurring revenue model. And I think a lot of it comes down to trying to talk about things like this as hosting. And I'll make your website and host your website. And I know you consider what you do so much more than that. So how do you present that so that a customer understands the ongoing value that they really get and how they interact with you and Duda because of that?
Exactly. And I'd say after this, if anybody wants to email me, I can send the PDF that we send out to people. And I went from calling it hosting, and I see our monthly. I call it our monthly. And I did it in one of those slick charts that you can do with all the features that it has. You know, you have a little check mark there, check, 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 check. SSL certificate, the dashboard, the ease, the Duda software. And that's what I do, as well as whatever else is on the Duda website, that I just point it out and say you get all this stuff versus being on an unsecure server, a GoDaddy server. I'm not knocking these people, HostGator, whomever, but you are putting your website, even if you do it dedicated, you have multiple sites on there. They're slower, they're not as secure. Amazon Web Services has been a great feature, but when I pull all of this together, they're buying into it because I'm selling Duda as the software engine that's driving this. That's going to get you more leads. I show them, I took 500 WordPress sites in the last 4 years and converted 500 to Duda. All of them got more leads and more traffic. This is not something I made up. This is the truth. When I explain that to people and I tell them that you're moving over to something that's so much more superior to what you have, it makes the $59 very easy to swallow. I haven't had pushback in 2 years.
That's great.
Repeat purchases, the suite of apps, I touched on this a little earlier. We have the Visita, AudioEye, Agendize. Those have been really well received. And I do research on this. With the AudioEye, I go into ADA lawsuits and complaints, and I talk to law firms that were clients of ours, and I did the research on this. And then we have, actually for the ADA compliance, we created hold on. A series of emails that we send out to clients that kind of, I don't like to scare people, but it kind of scares them into saying, all right, you know what, we resell it for $16 a month. It's worth it not to be sued. But I did a lot of research, created some email cadences and sent those out, and very easy to sell those. So now my monthly went from $59 to plus $16 a month, and which it's great. My goal this year is to sell 200 of those. 200 times $7 a month. It's nice. It's nice value. Reward your customers. We connect all of our clients together, and we remain there because we send out an email every time we launch a website. I'll get 1 to 3 people responding back and say, hey, I didn't know that. Can you reach out for me? Or boy, I do need a new fence. Can you make a connection for us? And we do that for them. And we send the email out. We don't charge them. We're really doing it more for us, but also for our client. and they just think we're really good people, that we have 2,000 people on our email list, that we give them that exposure. Bartering is a wonderful thing. A website for gorgeous nightscaping, yes, we did this. We had a quote for $5,000 put nightscaping in our house. I told them we'll give them the website. They put the nightscaping in. They got the website. Everybody was happy. But
Great
we try to, yeah, that was good. But we do. We try to do little things that they know. If we're restaurants, we've got probably 30 restaurants. Every 2 weeks we try to hit one of those restaurants, and my wife and I and the kids will show up there just to show them, and they've kind of got good food, but that we're true to them and we appreciate their business. Be decisive, be the solution. This is really critical, and this is the network that we've set up over a long time. If we don't do something, we have a resource for it. We have resources for, I didn't turn this off. We do videography and we do photography. We don't have someone on staff, but we put really good feelers out for people that we get a commission back for when we recommend somebody. We get 15% back. People call us. They don't care if it's in our company or not. It's just someone that's been carefully vetted by us. And do we believe in them? And is that good? So when they call us, they don't have to call anybody else. We figure it out for them. This is something else that I just think is kind of funny. Don't use technical jargon. I probably get this 1 out of 4 clients. They have no idea what agencies are talking about. They'll change your MX records and to your A records. The people don't understand that stuff. Just talk to them like a human being, that just assume they don't understand anything. We get some really, people don't understand a thing. Could you send us your domain registrar? They have no idea who that is, although they did it. Try to keep it really non-technical, and your clients will appreciate that. Referrals, our existing clients, we give them 15% off for referral. We'll print 1,000 business cards, we give them a couple months of hosting for free. Most of our clients said, we don't want anything, we just do it because you're good. We still do this because we want them to have had that experience of, hey, you know what, I get $250 sent back, or they printed 5 sets of 1,000 business cards for me because I just recommended somebody. That was a nice thing. So referrals, this is a big driver of our business. And we tell people when we close them and say, hey, if you told someone about us, you're going to get some free stuff for your website. We'll do SEO for a couple months, or just send you cash.
Yeah. So Nat, I know you've done a lot of work around your community and the people that you really know. You started with your own network. So when you see customer referrals, do you see them really branching out outside of your own community to other places around the country? What do you find your mix of customers that are kind of in your backyard that you can actually go and eat at their restaurant every couple of weeks versus those that are located elsewhere?
That's a great question, Liz. And at first, there were people in our area, and now they're not. They're all over the place, which is great. We've got a law firm that their accounting firm is in Ohio. We have a restaurant where the chef came from Colorado and he has a connection back there. Those leads have been more all over the country, which is great. Unusual. I'm not positive why, but it's broadened it out a lot. So it didn't stay local. It went national, and in some cases international.
Very cool. Thanks.
Add a personal touch. One of our agency partners just got married. I don't know if they're on this call or not. We sent, you know what, they're great. They send us a website every 2 weeks. We've done 25 websites with them. Wow. He just mentioned, he goes, I'm going to be out next week. I said, what's happening? He said, I'm getting married. We sent him something because I think he's a friend. And if he's getting married, it was just a nice thing to do. So I would just be aware of that. They're just nice things to do. Be nice to people when it comes back to you. And then every year, our top 15 or 20 clients, we send them a bottle of champagne. We do something for them just to recognize them. And again, we talked about this before. I research every lead before I talk to them. I find out anything I can. about these to get that personal touch. And then I put it in my Salesforce notes as, hey, their anniversary was this July, or just something that you can relate to. Identify opportunities proactively. The COVID again, here was the use due to personalizations. We sold this to 75 plus clients, and they thought we were like geniuses to do this, and we're so excited about it. The other thing is ADA compliance. I mentioned that before. That's becoming a big deal. We address the email campaigns to warn our clients and sell audio on monthly packages, but we do the research first. We look at things that are going on. We see who's being sued and why, and then we spin that back to our clients and say, here's your information. I've turned down putting audio on 20 people's websites because they're really, really small businesses. I don't think they had the 16 bucks. And I said, if you want a chance at, okay, I don't think you're going to be sued the next year, but as this becomes more of an issue, you may want to circle back. And they appreciate that. Clear and transparent. This goes into legal language. We have a proposal template that we send out to people, guidelines and policies with language helped by a lawyer. And yes, we traded out 10 additional pages for his website to do the legal language for us. I think this is becoming more and more of a thing that you just want to, as you get bigger, just take care of things and button them down. It's pretty important. Have a great website, social media experience, reviews. This is really, really important. Your appearance matters. We've upgraded our website probably on our 5th time. And every time we did it, it looked bigger and better. And we got bigger and better clients with bigger budgets every time we did it. And some of these were friends of mine that we redid our website, and they called me and said, yeah, I would like you to take a look and redo our website. So why didn't you call me? I've been in business for 6 years. They said, we looked at your website and didn't think that you were big enough to do it. So even your friends are looking at you. And this is something, too, that I think a lot of agencies that don't focus on is your own website, every touch point, your business card. It matters. Tips, advisory. One of these, I had established an advisory panel or board. I don't care what size you are, you can do this. It makes you look bigger, but we have a private equity businessman that's owned 65 companies, a guy that sold his company for $40 million to IBM 8 years ago, a woman business owner, accountant, high-powered attorney who's actually doing some of the cases that are on the news, the Floyd case, and the Harvard graduate. And we meet 4 times a year, and they really give me some different perspective. And to get that outside views, and you know what, I'll make some sweatshirts up or give them some pens, and you know, they do it as a favor to me, but they really give me some great outside views on business. And again, I looked at businessman, IT, tech, accountant, attorney, to have a nice broad background to tap into. And the other thing I do is I list every client on our website. I do that because we have a lot. I don't expect people to read it all. I just want them to look at it and look at the 560 verticals listed. I just want people to go, oh my God, all right, they're not working out of their basement. I'm going to call these people. So your own view of what you do in your Facebook and your Google reviews are so, so important. All of this leads to gaining trust, the secret sauce. So when they ask for additional services and billings, they have implicit trust in you. This is what I've done from the beginning. So when I ask them to do something, they don't really need a lot of explanation. I say, if you think that I need this, I'll do that. And again, if we can take X% of our clients and upgrade them to an Audio Eye or a Visita, the impact on our revenue is just enormous. And we keep all our clients, and that's really important.
Yeah.
That is. So we have 1,300 clients, and we lose under 5 a year. amazing service, support, and staff. Good relationships come from clear communication, trust, and transparency. Duda has allowed me to do this with built-in stats and dashboard. This is where something that stats dashboard is you're going to tell someone they're going to get more leads, they're going to do better. They can check you out and look at it themselves, and they just feel confident and comfortable with that. So that's, I can't underestimate, you can't underestimate the power of that. Say, listen, in 2 months, you know how many leads you're getting, how many times your contact phone pull up, look it up and see if I was right. This isn't hard to do.
So Nat, I know gaining trust is a huge piece of what we need to do, and especially, like you said, being transparent is a big deal. I've always found that one of the most difficult parts is actually how to say no, or how to help educate a customer when they're asking for something that may not actually be in their best interest. Do you have any advice on how you help customers get to being okay with you saying no, or how you help them ease into that kind of a discussion?
Oh my gosh, that's the question of the day. That is really, really a good one. And this goes back to something I put a few slides back. It's okay to fire a client. And this is not, it's kind of tangential to what you're asking. Sometimes there's just bad fits. When you're really working hard, and I'm assuming that most of the people that are on this call are, don't have 1,000+ websites. And I'm not bragging about it. I'm shocked we do. Every single one is so important that you just never say no. And I went through that for years. And it just led to a lot of disasters and a lot of bad situations. And what I can say is through all of this is we kind of know what somebody should be doing and what they shouldn't be doing. We have a lot of people that ask us to add different pieces of software that's a fortune to add it. And it's learning from all the mistakes that we've done and just knowing that. And they'll say, well, can you help me with, I want a social media package for $400 a month. And I'll say, but you know what, for $400 for 2 months, you could add 15 pages to your website, and that's a better use of the money. It's understanding the website, review software, social media, SEO, and where the first amounts of money should be spent, and talking them into that. And that's nothing that I can really expound on other than you just intuitively figure this out after a long time. And it's knowing that where they can spend their money and what's a good spend and what isn't. And normally the best spend is adding pages to the website and optimizing them quite a bit. That's normally the first best thing. SEO is a great thing. And then you move on to the next things. But what I look at, Liz, is we look at the website. If we build it correctly, put the lead funnels where Duda and Google that you helped me to find out from, those are all in place. The leads are coming in well, they're making some money, and then we move on to the next item, which could be an enhanced SEO program, which could be a social media program, but after they've made money. This is the formula. Simplified. This is how we do it. This is talk to the clients, see what they need, solve their problems. And the problems are leads. We focus on leads, and we tell them that Duda leads us to more leads. Find out what they can spend. And this is something that people get very uncomfortable with. I will force someone to tell us what they can spend. I just do. And I'll say, you have something in your head. And we say, well, we're talking to you because you know what it is. We've seen that with so many different clients and so many different price points. If someone needed a 5-page website and they had $600, Duda allows me to be able to build it, make a few money, and then make my $59 a month on it. So I really try to find out what they can spend and make them happy right out of the gate and know if we can do it or not. Show them Duda, amaze them with Duda. Tell them 1 to 2 new leads will usually pay for your new website. We always point that out. If you're a hairdresser, one woman, one guy coming in and getting their hair done will pay for what we want to charge them. And we let them know that. Check to see if Duda apps are appropriate. It's at the beginning. Don't overwhelm them. Earn their trust first. Don't show them every single thing you have, because then they think you're trying to load them up. We just really try to sell the website first. Take a look at their website, show them what they're missing. Usually it's lead funnels, phone number, top right, hero banner, contact form, contact form in the footer of every page, map if they're local, things like that. We point those out. Build them a monthly for hosting, software, SSL, power of Duda. Circle back in 1 to 3 months with stats. How many leads are generated? Now talk about anything else that they may need. Result, $50 a month. You could get them to 150. The ROI is the key. Make sure that they're making it, so when you tell them to spend it, they know it's a good investment. Always care about the money that your clients make. This, just a quick study here. If you've got 30 clients, $50 a month, you're making $18,000 a year. Get half of them to add a couple apps, take them to 100, you're making $9,000 more a year. You'd have to find 15 new clients. It's much easier to sell them those apps and another $50 a month than to find 15 new people. That's it.
Awesome. So if anybody does have questions, please feel free to send them in. Otherwise, we'll kind of talk through a couple other things while we're waiting here. So Nat,
yes.
What would you say when you started building out Olive and Ash? What was your first investment in resources? Where did you see that you really needed the help right away to be able to handle new customers that you were bringing in and deliver the right services?
I needed a great, and this is really a good question, and it's something that I found years ago before Duda, but now that I have Duda, is you find a great developer designer, actually designer slash developer. When I first, it was with WordPress, I found a guy who was a great designer that could also develop. Now what I do is I find people that have their own freelancers or designers in the area. Everybody's based right outside of Chicago. Is I look for people that have their own Squarespace, Wix, Weebly, or Duda website. I know they know what the software is, and they're designers, and they can learn the software in 2 weeks. And my first investment would be a designer who could learn the software very quickly, and you get 2 for the price of 1.
I totally agree with you. I think that makes a lot of sense in this instance, especially with how heavily you use Duda. That designer partner is really going to be the main thing that you need coming out the gate. Yeah,
it's transformed my business, and then we don't have to deal with a lot of the WordPress developers, .NET developers. They can really have a special attitude that designers don't. They're usually a lot nicer.
Agreed. All right, we've got another question from the audience. How did you decide when you could bring on new staff, financially speaking? What triggers did you actually see that said, okay, I'm ready for the next person to come on board?
That's what keeps me up at night. That's really hard. We have 18 people. And what my model has been is I'll get interns from local colleges. And almost everybody that you see on this page here, other than my son and daughter, they came from a college or a design school, all of them. And what I did is I get interns, and they'll come here, and a lot of them, they intern for free for a semester to get their experience. And I look at the workload, and I look and see on every project that we do, I assign hours to it that I know a website for this legal client should take 7 hours. And Christine is doing that website. And I look at their hours, and I look and see what, once we're pushed to that level, I'm at the point now where we're pushed where we need a half of a person. And that's what's difficult. But I push who we have as far as we can go before I look at another person. A lot of people I bring on, like I said, they start as interning. After that, I'll pay them on a project basis. And there's a lot of people out there that will take that, pay $20 an hour, $25 an hour, and you're going to make $10,000 or $15,000. And then they come on with that, and then hopefully stick, and the business ramps up. Now it's looking like they could make 30 or 40, and at that point, I make an offer to come on here full time.
So you're really looking at it in terms of, hold out when you have leads coming in, use the people that you've got for as long as you can. And but you want the leads to come in before you really start hiring. You're not hiring to fit a future
Correct.
funnel.
No,
right.
No, right. I've never done that. I bring them on as 1099s, and then it can go to full time. And that way we remain profitable through the whole process.
And when you look at your average website build, how many websites can one person handle in, say, a week or a month? Or how do you actually like to load your designers so that they're building as well and efficiently as they can?
That's the crazy thing with Duda is Ben was our WordPress guy here, and anything that could be needed to be done technically, this guy can do. And now he's starting to pivot to Duda. He could do maybe 2 WordPress sites a month. Christine, on the other hand, who's a designer, got her out of design school, can do probably 600 Duda sites a year.
Right.
So the difference is just so vast. So what we see is, and this gets back to the question of when do you bring somebody on, is what we do is to like Dylan on here, you see Director of Operations, what his job is to make the onboarding smoother and smoother. So Christine, we could do another 100 websites and not have to hire somebody.
Right. Okay, great. A couple more questions we've got coming in. This one's an interesting one, and I have my opinions on it, but I'm very interested to hear your thoughts. How do you deal with the fact that we present as Duda, we have our prices available on the website? Obviously, we market to agencies and kind of larger pros that are building multiple websites, and you're marketing to a very different customer. But does that come up in conversations? How do you handle the fact that we may be showing a price that's obviously very different than what you're requesting?
Well, I'm also one of the top agencies with a big competitor, and I signed up to see what it was. Well, Duda, years ago, I was in the office actually when the discussion was going on with Itai and Oded and Adam Ferris and the rest of the team, is do we go and market ourselves to agencies? It was the best. If Duda didn't, I wouldn't be here today. One of your big competitors really sells more directly to consumers than Duda does. Duda is really for agencies, although a person can go on the site and get a site for $20 a month. But since you made the pivot, I've had 5 uncomfortable discussions in 2 years out of 300. So really, and we just tell them, do this for agencies, and they just kind of stop. And I know that's a big question, and one of your big competitors, I couldn't get past it. And I told them, I said, until you stop selling websites to people for $6 a month, I can't charge $59. And what I do is I sell them on our expertise to use the tool. Someone can go and buy a WordPress website and get a theme and try it. They can't build what we can build. I sell our expertise. So it really, crazy as it sounds, and I sweated that for a while until Duda made that switch to the agency. I wasn't going to go in full tilt. It really doesn't come up a lot. And I'll say, sure, anybody could buy Wix, anybody could go to Weebly, anybody can go to Squarespace, anybody can go to WordPress. You can't do with it what we can. That's what you're paying for. We're unlocking the tools that you will never unlock. That was good. Write that down. I like that.
Unlocking the tools you won't unlock. They're not paying just for their website. They're paying for the years and years that you guys have been doing this and the expertise that you have to deliver the entire presence package that you need.
And then be able to back it up and put a better product out there that they could.
That's right. All right, a couple more questions for you. So back to kind of how your staff is actually working on sites. Do you actually manage their workflows to track the time that they're spending on any individual website? And do you know, for example, how long an average five-page website would take for you to deliver?
We know it to the minute. I can look at a website, somebody can send something, and it could be another agency, and they'll say, here's a 5-page website, what will you charge us for? I can look at it in 10 minutes. No, every single person on our staff, we can get it now to the minute, how long it will take to do it. Yeah.
Great.
And with WordPress, no way. Duda, absolutely. I mean, we can build. We've had some leads that we've been sent. We had one, we built 250 websites. They're 5-page websites off of kind of a theme. We got it down to an hour and 45 minutes a site.
That's great. Are there specific tools that you use to track these changes, or what your teams are working on, or is it just experience that allows you to understand this?
Each of them tracks every minute they're spending on every project, although they're all on salary. Every 2 weeks they send in to me exactly what they spent those minutes on.
Great. So you know for each individual person what they're working on, how long it takes, and what they can really deliver.
Yeah, because when you own an agency like this and you're spending money, every minute should be paid for.
Absolutely. So one other question that we had come in, can you expand a little bit on the data and Google funnel, how you actually see the two of these things working together and the benefit that you get between Duda and Google?
Could you pose that differently?
So the question we got was, can you expand on the Duda and Google funnel? So I know that obviously our product relates very closely. Being on the web, you have to deal with Google. How do you see especially that lead funnel working, and how do you optimize for Google using Duda?
Sure, we've been to I've seen you in the office quite a bit. We've been out to Palo Alto a lot, or a lot of your technical people are at. And first of all, we know we had one of your technical guys. We were peppering these guys with questions. Why is Duda better? What is it? We got to talk people down from WordPress. When they think CMS, they just think WordPress is Jello. It's what you do. And finally, and I don't know who it was, he stuck his head on the door, and he said, and he told us something. And he said, they're developing the software with Google's Webmaster Guidelines in mind. Typical WordPress site hits about 30 to 50 Google Webmaster standards, and Duda is about 270. So right out of the gate, there's nothing we're doing, because Duda is doing all the heavy lifting for this. And right down the street from Google, and it's that. And over time, the times that we've been in there, when there have been Google people in there and your technical people, is we don't leave until you just we suck the life out of you and every bit of information you can to show where the phone button should go, the best lead form to do, how many times it should be on a page, and over time, and that's when I was discussing that earlier, it's what we've gleaned from those conversations that we put in place on all the websites that we do. So it's information we've picked up from Duda, which is amazing, and a lot of it is from Google itself, and we put those into play. So we build websites. A lot of other agencies, we've seen websites being built. We had an agency yesterday call us and said, why do your websites do better than ours? It's stuff that we've picked up from that we just build them better. So the software platform itself is superior, and these are the tips and tricks that we've learned from the Google/Duda team that we put into play we focus on lead funnels.
Great, that's great. All right, Nat, we are right up at time here. Right. So thank you again for joining us today and going through this. For everybody attending, we will send out a copy of this. It is being recorded, and you'll be able to access it on our resource center later on. So thanks everybody for coming. Nat, thank you so much for your presentation, and we look forward to seeing you all again soon.
Liz, thank you, and thank you everybody. If you have any questions or whatever, you can reach out to us. We'd be happy to talk.
Thanks.